So, last time we added this jetpack and sweet hat, and the game's starting to come along. But let's actually put an effect on it so we can tell actually when the button's being pressed and when it's being released. Now, the way we're going to do this is we're not going to draw all this by hand, but we're going to use a website. So if you just Google Effect Texture Maker, you should see this one here, this Effect Texture Maker GitHub page. It's a github.io Mobius box, so you should find it that way. Anyway, wait for this to open, and this is by far one of the best websites on the internet. Let me just tell you, the effects on here, sensational. Whoever made this, all these people, hats off. But we're gonna go through. We're gonna find one that we want. So, for example, fire. I'm just going to tick animate, and again, there's loads of these. You know, maybe you want to go for something a little bit more, I don't know, interesting. So feel free to have a bit of a look around in here. But I'm just going to go for fire. I'm going to just go to parameters and just sort of mess with these a little bit until I sort of get the sort of a stylish effect that I want. So this is what's going to come out the bottom. Of our jetpack. Clearly very good at multitasking. You can also type in the numbers to get a more precise sort of effect. Cool. Right, I'm sort of happy with that. And again, once you've sort of done with it, we're going to go down to sprite sheets. Now, you can mess with these a bunch, but I'm just going to set mine to 5. So it's just going to be a 5x5 sprite sheet. I'm going to press save sprite sheet. This is going to come through looking like this. At which point, I'm just going to save image as. I'm just going to call it sprite sheet 1. Maybe I should have called it like flame sprite sheet or something. Anyway, inside Unreal, we are going to want to import it. So we've got a textures folder yet? We do have a textures folder. Maybe we could create a VFX folder. Yeah, now let's throw it in here. So I'm just going to import it to game, get my sprite 1. And I'm going to create a material out of this. So go ahead and hit create material. I'm actually going to call this flame underscore m, because it's actually a better name. I should have named it something better in the first place. So once we've got this pop-up window, we need to basically tell this to be a play like sprite sheet. But Unreal doesn't actually refer to them as sprite sheets, it refers to them as a flipbook. So I'm just going to right click in some space and type in flipbook. Just get standard flipbook. Right, now with the flipbook you can see we've got the UV channel, which we're just going to wire into there. And then inside here we've got rows and numbers. So we happen to know it's 5x5, so I'm just going to hold 1 and left click. So just holding 1 and left click in, I'm going to wire this into rows and numbers and set the value to be 5. I mean, if we want to sort of preview this, I'll come back and tweet it in a minute. But you can sort of see now this has got this flame effect going on. So it's getting there. But we also want to wire in animation time. So I'm just going to get a time. I'm going to wire this into animation phase. I'm also going to, with nothing selected, so to get rid of the black, I'm going to click off it, and where it says blend mode opaque, I'm going to change this to additive. So now you can see the black part's gone. Now to give it a little bit more oomph, I'm going to do a multiply. So I'm going to drag off this, type in multiply, or hold M, and left click, and I'm going to wire this into my emissive. So emissive is going to make it glow. So the higher number we've got here, the 8, the brighter the effect will be. Now, what resolution is that image, by the way? It feels quite low. 512. I wonder if we can actually export that at a higher resolution, because it's a bit low res, as you can sort of see. You can sort of see the edges a little bit. I wonder if on that website we can actually go back and increase the size. Oh, you can. Resolution up here. Whoa. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that to the biggest size. And I'm just going to right click and I'm going to save this as, and I'll just call it Sprite Sheet 1. In fact, let's just overwrite it. Yes, we will overwrite, and then let's go back into Unreal and find where it is, which is here. And if we right click it and say re-import, you see it's got like a smoother, nicer quality now. Just 'cause we've got a lot more sort of resolution out of it. And that's pretty cool. Like I say, if you feel like your flame's too high, you can control time by, say, like, you know, if you want it to be slower, you could divide it by, say, 2. So that doesn't look brilliant. But I'm just saying, if you want to sort of tweak that, if you've got more values, you can obviously tweak that too. But for the most part, that is your flame material. Okay, now let's go ahead and add it to this character. So because it's just a material, all we're actually going to do is, off our jetpack, we're going to add a plane. Now you can sort of tweak and adjust like we did before. It actually might be easier just to control like these values here a little bit. So tweak and adjust this as to where it's going to sort of look good. Cool. And I'm going to change the material in here to be my flame material. Okay, I'm going to need to rotate it. Not that way. Not that way. Not that way. Which way? Not that way. Not that way. What? Stop running. Okay. Alright, let's just tweak that, get it sort of in the spot that we're sort of happy with. Look at that. That's cool. Let's see how it looks in game. It looks cool in game. Now we obviously don't want it to be on constantly. So with this plane selected, we can rename it if we want to flame plane. We are going to look for the word visible. So I'm just going to search for the word visible. I'm going to set it to be invisible. Now, inside our event graph, when we have this spacebar pressed, what we're going to do is we are going to get reference to our flame plane. So let's drag that in. And we're going to set visibility. So when it's pressed, that's why you into there, you into there, we want to be visible. And we can duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D. And this time we want it to be invisible. So when it's released, be invisible. Cool. So when it's pressed, we're going to set that visibility. When it's not, it should be invisible. So let's see how that looks. It looks amazing. If I do say so myself. I mean, I think for mine, I think it needs rotating a little bit more, but cool. That's awesome. All right, on to the next one.